Let's talk about this Utah Jazz TV deal in a grand scheme of things. Because look at this number right here. They are projecting that in 2027, so 4 years from now, that just 49.9 million people will have cable or satellite TV in their homes.
Right.
4 years ago, that was 100 million people. So wholly half of the existing televisions that are paying for service are going to cut the cord. That's a shocking number to me. And one of the things I found so interesting was talking about this Utah Jazz TV deal. People, I thought it was a home run. If you didn't hear about it, and if you're not in Utah or you're not familiar with it, the Jazz just did a TV deal where they're not using like a regional sports network. They're not using Bally's. They're not using Fox Sports in your mom's house, like none of that. They're going to be on a small local channel owned by Sinclair, who, by the way, is a regional sports network monster with the Cubs. They're going to be on K-Jazz TV in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
But they're also going to stream every one of their games on a platform that they are currently building and branding. And they are going to have a number, and now that number has been wildly bandied about.
Right.
They're going to charge you a certain number for the entire season so you can stream every game that's not on TNT or ESPN and ABC. Let's say that number is $200 a year. You get every game. Would you pay that number? Think about your favorite team, whatever your favorite NFL, whatever your favorite, like I'm a Chicago guy. If you said to me you can watch every single Chicago Cub game for $200 a year, I'm in. Oh, wait, I already have that. Right? I already have that with the MLB package.
Yep.
So the question is, if your local team said to you, hey, you can watch every one of our games on your phone for $200 a year, are you willing to pay that? And I think internally, I'm told by Utah Jazz sources, they're trying to figure out what the exact right number is. We've heard all kinds of crazy numbers from $100 a year for every game to $500 a year for every game. And they're also going to give you exclusive content. You're going to buy something, similarly branded to, hey, the Utah Jazz Pass gets you every game and all of their exclusive behind-the-scenes content.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. And I would guess for those of you that live in Salt Lake City, if Ryan Smith said every one of our games will be on K-Jazz or you can pay us $500 to watch it on stream, wouldn't you, as a Jazz fan, and Jake, I don't know your opinion on this,
yeah,
but wouldn't you just watch on K-Jazz if you lived in Salt Lake City?
Yeah, if you live in Salt Lake City, you're just going to watch on K-Jazz. And I think that, when any organization, Jazz or like the Pac-12, whoever the hell it is, you have to understand supply and demand. So if you're going to put your product on K-Jazz, which it used to be on, not in this last TV deal it was not, but before that it was. So you're doing this great thing where you're bringing Jazz fans back to how it used to be with K-Jazz, Delta Center, purple uniforms. Like, you're doing all these great things to kind of stroke the heartstrings of Jazz fans, if you will. But the problem is that being that it's going to be free on K-Jazz, you're not making any money on that. And so you have to find a way to make your money back, right? And monetize your TV distribution. So how do you do that? Well, you do it through sales. And this is the model that I've been preaching for the Pac-12. And I hope that the Utah Jazz, in this case, are aggressive about sales, selling into your product. But here's the beautiful thing, and this is the thing I think people don't understand. If you're going to charge, $200, let's say, or whatever that number winds up being, you have to find balance with that number. So you got to be able to say, okay, for every dollar, that we bring in revenue from paying customers, how much of that dollar do we get to keep? If you are only able to keep, 10 cents of that dollar, you need to sell more. But if you're keeping 90 cents on the dollar, then you're in a great place. So to me, it's like, all right, if you're going to charge, like yesterday on the show, I flat out said, hey, if it was, let's say $100 a month, I'm not willing to pay that. $100 a season, I'm absolutely willing to pay that. A season is fine. I think you have to understand that, the local person here in Salt Lake is going to watch on K-Jazz, but that's not why you're doing an app, in my opinion. You're not doing an app for exclusive content. Why are you doing an app? You're doing an app so that you can reach Buddy in New York, so that you can reach the person in the Philippines that wanted to watch Jordan Clarkson last year.
And so that it can be brought to you by Delta. So that your app is presented by a major brand sponsor that's going to pay you millions of dollars a year for that. That's why you're doing a platform, right? And I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think. I am at my max for wanting to pay for new content platforms.
Well, it's a challenge, isn't it?
It is
like
very much.
The DirecTV thing. Hey, everyone's cutting the cord. Well, what does that mean? Well, you got to pay for like 15 different platforms. That's the problem. So it's like, okay, I can be on DirecTV as an example, and I can have basically everything under the sun there, but I don't get Amazon or Netflix or, in this case, a Utah Jazz app or whatever your team is. That's the problem.
That is the problem. And I think when you're struggling to figure out financially and listen, if it's taking brain power, maybe it's time to pop a buckshot from Bucked Up. Dude. Maybe that's what this is, because when you hit that buckshot, it gives you all day long-lasting clean energy to carry you home. Down the hatch, it tastes amazing. I'm a huge fan of buckshot. I tell you this every day. As somebody that is continuing to work hard on my weight loss and, losing 30 pounds now, I give a lot of that credit to Bucked Up, because it's products like buckshot that help me sleep better, because I have energy all day long. So I'm not sitting around. I'm not, last night I go home. Am I sitting around the house? No, I'm mowing the grass. I'm hitting golf balls into my net. Like, we're doing all this stuff. It's motivating me to eat better. It's motivating me to get to sleep on time. I was looking at my sleep app this morning when I got up. I slept great. And it's because I have all day energy. And when I'm ready to go to bed, I fall asleep quick. I'm really lucky that way because I've got Bucked Up. And it works. And it's not just energy drinks. Their energy drinks are amazing. Miami is my favorite flavor. And it's zero sugar. I love it, right? But it's things like collagen peptides that help your skin and your hair and gives you more energy. It's things like their amazing protein bars. You guys, I'm telling you, in the description below, not only can you get free buckshot, but the Buck Bars, this is what you want to be focused on. I'm telling you, Buck Bars are the best protein bars I've ever had. And I hate protein bars. I usually only used one. I had found the one bar that I liked. And so I ordered it on Amazon because it's the only bar that I really was ever able to eat. And the Buck Bar just smashes it because it tastes good. But look at the ingredients. Whey protein isolate, dates for sweetener. So you're not getting full sugar and you're not getting crappy ingredients. You're getting good, clean, really meaningful ingredients that help you. And when I say help you, it makes you feel fuller. It means that you're not hungry all the time. It means that you don't, I don't eat after 3 o'clock generally. Sometimes, depending on what I'm doing, maybe I'll have a small snack for dinner. But most days, I don't eat dinner on a regular basis. I don't eat volume. That's the other thing that Bucked Up has really helped me with. I'm not as hungry, so I don't eat as much food when I do eat. I'm telling you, Bucked Up is not just about energy. They're about a lifestyle change. Don't take my word for it. Get in the description below on this show, whether you're listening on audio podcast, and bless you if you are. Love all of our listeners on Spotify. Hey, if you guys are listening on audio podcast, if you're listening on YouTube and watching the show, get in the description below. There's a link to get the Buck Bars. They're going to send a sampler pack for free to your front door. Get 6 buckshot samples sent right to your front door. And if you're ready to go head in and you need some protein or you need some collagen or you want whatever it is you need at buckedup.com, use the promo code Monty to get 20% off at checkout. Bucked Up, the official energy provider of the Monty Show. Lokeman says the Pac-12 could have took Big 12 teams when they had the chance. No sympathy. They could have. Jake Gordon says, Monty, what sleep app do you use? Just the one on my iPhone. Just the one on my iPhone. And
the one that comes with it.
Yeah, it gives you a pretty good look. It's in the health app.
Yeah.
It gives you a pretty good look. Brian O'Hara. Brian, how are you? Mid-size and smaller cable systems are selling YouTube TV because they want to be internet suppliers, not just program deliveries. Excellent point.
Yeah.
I think when you look at, and you all know the solicitations you get, or you look at Comcast as an example. They don't just do TV. They do internet. They do data. They do cloud. They do because you're not just going to make money on cable anymore because people aren't paying for it.
Yeah.
In my opinion, cable is cost prohibitive. And the thing that I really appreciate about, like, I'm a DirecTV customer for the last 30 years. I really appreciate DirecTV. They've evolved. I can stream. I can do all this stuff. But I got to tell you, it's not cheap. And I am a YouTube TV guy. It's what we have in the studio. We have it at home as well. I have it on my phone. For me, it's a business expense, so it's a tax write-off as well. Like, there's a lot of reasons to like YouTube TV. I get local channels, all of that. But if the Chicago Cubs said, hey, we have an app you can watch every game for $200 a year, and I get behind-the-scenes stuff, I probably would cut the cable. If there was a One Chicago app where I could watch the Bulls, the Bears, the Hawks, the Cubs, if I could do all of that and just have one app for all the professional teams, dude, give me $500 a year. I'll pay you $500 a year to watch every live sports game for every Chicago team on my phone.
Yeah.
I think that's the wave of the future. And I don't know what, I think some market is going to do that. I don't know who that is. I see that Washington, Ted Leonsis. I see that the Yes Network. It'll never happen in New York because MSG and the Yes Network are completely different and they're rivals. But there's potential for all sports teams to be on one app in one city.
Yeah.
And I'm curious who that's going to be. I'm really curious who that's going to be. And I don't know who that is, but I'm curious. Provo Cougar fan, if cable and satellite companies cut monthly costs, they will increase subscribers. If the cable and satellite companies allow a la carte shopping, they will increase subscribers. They will adapt or die. But here's the problem.
Yeah.
Is you don't have a declining cost of content. You know, like if you look at the shows you watch on Netflix or the shows you watch on Hulu or whatever app you want to point to.
Yeah.
It's expensive to make that content. We had a meeting the other day with somebody that we're talking to about increasing the distribution of our show. And they were talking about the fact that content is so incredibly expensive that it raises the cost to the end user. And so I look at this Utah Jazz deal and I say, hey, free on TV, great. What are you going to charge me for that app? Because their content's going to be expensive.
And that's really what's interesting is like I think that you would think that there would be companies out there that would look to partner with, you know, in this case with the Jazz, this company is starting SEG Media. If you watched Ryan Smith's video, SEG Media, Smith Entertainment Group Media. And you would think that there would be a company out there that would go in and would say, hey, we know that content is expensive to create, but what we will do is we will undercut the price of that and we will sell it to you cheaper if you commit to us long term and we build a partnership or we're the exclusive content creator for you. And so then that would put the Jazz in this case in a position to sell that content for a lower price and do more numbers. Because that's the name of the game, right? Hey, we want to drive the consumer price down as much as we can.
Correct.
So that more consumers buy that content. And so that's why it's shocking to me that we haven't seen more of this. Because I think what's going to happen, this is just my opinion, but I think what's going to happen is the Ryan Smiths of the world, a guy on that level of business, eventually is going to start to catch on to the concept of, hey, if we create great content, if we really lock in and make compelling stuff, and I'm not saying like Netflix level TV show, but if what I'm talking about is like 4K quality, good stories that we're putting into our app, we can sell that to the Deltas of the world as an example, to any number of companies, Adobe, right? Pura, right? Like all these different companies. Yeah. We can do that and make money. And that's what is surprising to me. Why there's not more partnership around creating video.
Because I think that, and I'm not trying to bash people, there's a lack of talent in this business.
Yeah.
There is a lack of talent in this business. And living in Utah, I cannot tell you the last time I turned on local TV or radio.
It's a plague in this town.
It really is. And it's something I struggle with. Like, I think it is, and this is a Ryan Smith, the owner of the Jazz thing. I mean, he owns the largest sports radio property, right? Oh, yeah, Jeff Bevan. I agree with you. The first guy through the door gets the bloodiest, known as the hero. The Jazz and Suns are going to take a beating at first, but it will pave the way for better for the consumer. I totally agree.
But I don't think they have to take that beating. They're only going to take that beating because they're getting greedy on the pricing.
I totally agree.
They don't have to take a beating. What they need to do, if we're going to work in have-to-dos, what they have to do is find a way to drive the price down and still be as profitable as they'd like to be. That's what they have to do.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see how all of this plays out. Because I think when you look at and specific to the Utah Jazz, but look at your local sports market.
Yeah.
Wherever you're watching the show from across the country today. If you listen to sports radio in your town, how much do you really enjoy it? Or are you listening because it's the only thing you have? Because I only subscribe to Sirius XM radio because there's no sports radio in Salt Lake City, which is where I currently live. There's no sports radio here.
And it might sound crazy, right? Hey, two guys that do a show want to listen to sports talk. You guys already do sports talk. Well, actually, yeah, compelling sports talk for us is enjoyable. The problem is there's a severe shortage of it.
And I usually will listen to New York or Chicago through an app because everybody's sports talk shows are on apps now. I will listen to that on my phone, or I'll listen to Howard, or I'll listen to ESPN Radio. But even the national guys, I just think we've done such a bad job developing sports talk in this country that we rely on guys like, Shit Bayless and Screaming A. Smith. Yeah. That's the problem. You look at the money that Shannon Sharp just got to go to FanDuel TV. How compelling, how entertaining really is Shannon Sharp?
Have we ever seen Shannon on his own?
I have never seen that.
Never seen him as a primary.
It's really hard for me to understand. And again, you know what I think it is? It's the cost of the content. It's the cost of the content. I look at Craig Carton at the Fan in New York.
Another great story.
Craig Carton, fresh out of jail, became one of the highest paid talents in the city of New York because people will listen. Guy goes to jail on I believe it was a gambling beef, goes to jail on a gambling beef, gets out of jail, goes right back to WFAN, just left WFAN, probably the dream job for most sports radio people, to go to Fox Sports. It's amazing to me.
For what?
I cannot money. I cannot remember. I don't know that I've ever listened to Fox Sports Radio. And I don't watch Fox Sports on TV.
The only time we ever listened to it was back in the day for Colin. But I can't listen to Colin now.
No, Colin's changed.
I'm talking about years ago.
And also, why do you think Pat McAfee's such a big deal?
Well,
Pat McAfee's such a big deal because he's young, he's hip, he's aggressive. It's crazy to me how much we just don't develop local talk shows anymore. How much we don't have local talk shows in the community doing stuff. When we did the Real Salt Lake thing a couple weekends ago, our local people here in Salt Lake City were thrilled with it. We had a great time just hanging out. 9 out of 10 of us didn't even watch a game.
Yeah.
We were sitting there just chopping it up, having a good time, talking about life, man.
But I think that part of it is what's so lacking.
Yes.
I think we can sit here all day and, bash Salt Lake radio or Chicago radio or whatever. We can do that. But but my thing is that even if you're somebody who doesn't do a great show, you do a show that people will listen to but they're not enamored by. If you personalize it and make it fun, people are going to stay. Because ultimately, why do we all listen, including myself? I listen to product that's easy to listen to and that I can stay connected with. That the topic has to be compelling and it has to be something that I can relate to a little bit. Something that I won't feel lost on. And I feel like so often in radio now, and even in other spoken word product too, I see it on YouTube all the time. We're just talking about whatever we want to talk about. We're just having conversations that are surface level, just kind of show up and turn the show on type thing. And you can't do that anymore. So when I look at the Utah Jazz's app and this new TV distribution package they're rolling out, I love the innovation in it. I love pushing the envelope. I love the direction they're taking. Absolutely, I'm about it.
Yep.
At the same time, that content damn well better be compelling, and it better be worth people's money, because if it's not, they're not going to pay for it.
And I think that's the biggest issue. Content anymore is expensive and it's boring. Like it is. I don't know many people here locally in Utah that listen to local radio. Tanner Plummer says ESPN 960 is the most notable sports outlet in Utah County, and it's unbearable. Everyone there are massive homers. So my sports talk radio is basically YouTube and podcasts that involve all my favorite teams. I think that's where a lot of us are at.
Yeah, I think
a lot of us are that. Truck Stop Gumby says my local sports talk is Poodoo. That's not good. Chad Master says, yeah, sports talk here in Fresno is basically 1 2-hour local show and the rest are national. That's rough, dude. B says, lived in Vegas for 27 years and the locals only give support to winning teams. The A's and UNLV will have to earn it on the field first. Then the support will come. Well, I think, it's interesting you bring up the A's. Will the A's actually spend money and try to win games when they're in Las Vegas? Because for how many years now have they just flatly admitted they're not trying to win games?
But is that a motivation of wanting to leave, or is that because you just are trying to profit?
I think it's because they're not making money on the Coliseum in Oakland.
Yeah.
I think that's been a huge problem. It's just
I do think it's a pretty bad look, even for the richest of rich. I think it's a bad look to go to a new building and lose.
Giggity says, I only listen to you guys for sports. Not many great options in Phoenix. No, I would agree with that. Elaine Tran says ESPN Plus is annoying to watch. Why, Elaine? What do you mean?
Yeah.
I actually like ESPN Plus a lot. Jeff Bevan says there's no reason for 24/7 Jazz content. Put on the reruns of syndicated TV shows at other times. Give me quality pregame, game, and postgame show and 30 minutes behind-the-scenes stuff, and I'm good. Ooh. Interesting.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, Jeff, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just disagree. I think... And this is the real problem with it, too. It's a philosophical conversation. It's not, hey, what color is the sky?
And it's not a right or wrong thing.
Yeah, it's a philosophical conversation. My philosophy and our philosophy on video is if you're going to do it, it has to be grade A. It just has to be.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you're going to do video, you can't do just a little bit of it. You can't do it like once in a while. It is an all or nothing proposition, which people seemingly don't understand. And that's the problem is like, philosophically speaking, there is major things to be gained through this app, but there are also major losses to be had if you do not do it right.
But if you have a personality that's the face of the Utah Jazz and not Holly Rowe.
Another conversation piece.
Not Holly Rowe.
Please.
Not Craig Bolerjack. Like, find me somebody young
not
and hip.
in-game, dude.
No,
Please, save us.
Not your in-arena announcers. Like, and the guy that's in their portfolio already, again, I'm a huge Ben Anderson advocate. Find somebody like Ben who's got personality, who knows the game, who knows the team, that can build relationships with players so he can go to their house and drive to the arena with them so that he can, have good conversations that bring depth out with Jordan Clarkson. When Jordan Clarkson's talking about, hey, it doesn't, I can pick up stakes and move somewhere else. I need somebody in this town to go to Jordan Clarkson and say, well, why? What do you mean by that? How easy would it be to leave here? But there's nobody that can do that. And that's what the Jazz need. It's what you always say. We need Danny Ainge on the phone making the Donovan Mitchell trade.
And I think we
need that on video.
Dude, all these comments we're getting today about, hey, the sports talk radio in my town is full of homers. That's the other piece of the video content. You can't just do video content that's positive and sunshine and roses all the time. You can't do that.
But you can do Joe Ingles and Jordan Clarkson 6th Man of the Year. You can do Walker Kessler Awards. You can do, there's moments for that stuff. That's the homer feel stuff. But when you're doing the Jazz absolutely should do a docuseries during the season.
I need Will Hardy riding these guys during training camp, dude.
Yes.
I need villain Will Hardy on tape. I need, Colin Sexton is working his ass off because he knows he's on the trade block.
What I need is, think back to the recent Jazz history. I need Rudy Gobert yelling and screaming in the locker room. Because that's what we were told happened.
You know what we need? I need a camera sitting just to the left of Rudy Gobert when he touched all those mics. That's what I need.
Yes.
I need that type of angle.
That type of intimacy. Damn. I need that type of intimacy, embedded closeness.
Yeah.
With the Jazz.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's easy, but Derek says, I'm on 97.5 Sports in Utah quite often. Those guys are easy to listen to. Yeah, I wish I could agree with you. I really struggle with 97.5, the Zone Sports Network. Like, their morning show is two old dudes. Like, it's two guys in their 70s talking sports.
Everyone's always like, oh, well, you guys are never going to say anything nice about them because you're competition. I actually don't think they're competition to us. I think our product is completely different. And I'm not even interested, like I said, I'm not interested in having some bashing conversation because I don't view them as competition. I can honestly sit here and tell you guys, I put serious time in my car into listening to them. I know the product. Like, I know what they like to talk about. I know where they lack in their conversation points. I know where they're really good. I know before, like Hans Olsen as an example, I know what Hans is strong on, what he's not. And I love the fact that he joined up with BYU. I love that partnership. I think that was brilliant, right? But at the same time, I look at radio and I say, dude, how long is it going to take before radio in this town picks up on the fact that you can't put John Wilner or John Canzano on your show and then go on Twitter and tweet about it and say that this guy's a reliable source? Because, again, he's not a reliable source. And it's not just us saying that anymore. Because there's a lot of times for us in this market where we'll say something and everyone will get all outraged. Oh, my God, you guys just hate this or hate that. Or like with Rudy Gobert, you guys just hate Rudy Gobert. A year later, he gets traded and everyone's like, yeah, turns out you guys didn't hate Rudy. You guys are just spot on with the situation. We see that all the time. And I feel like with radio, they're in a position where they're leveraged so they can't tell an honest story. And I see all these comments today about, hey, my local station is full of homer takes. They're not honest. And I look at this Jazz situation or the MSG situation or even Yes Network, even Marquee Network for the Cubs. I look at these different networks and I say, dude, if you're going to do content, you at least have to toe the line of saying something negative about your organization. I'm not saying you got to rip your organization. I don't even expect the Jazz to do that. But I got to at least see like some semblance of honesty about what's happening in a situation. If you want to cut some things out or like massage it, totally get it. But it can't just be, man, we're the best, everything's great all the time. When like let's say that this coming season you fall short of expectations for whatever reason. I think they will overachieve again. But let's just say this coming season you fell short. I got to see the struggle. The struggle is what everyday dude relates to. Like, I need to see rehab like Joe Ingles back in the day. Well, if Joe Ingles was in your weight room,
I totally agree.
Rehabbing his ACL, I want to see it, dude. I need this stuff.
Yeah, and I think you need it. I absolutely think you need it. Sean Mierzinski, I used to listen to ESPN LA and lost interest. Ooh, that hurts. The A's have been a cheap franchise since Connie Mack. Yeah, but they've won. They have won, and it's awfully difficult to argue with the A's and the success that Moneyball and that Billy Beane had there. Tanner Plummer, is Billy Beane still with the A's? Forgive me, I'm casual when it comes to baseball. Yeah, I think he's a vice president, executive vice president. Riley O'Brien just keeps saying, by the way. W-H-E-Y.
Yeah, what are you talking about,
my guy? What are you doing, Riley?
Yeah, what are you doing, bro?
Jake Gordon, I'll do it. I volunteer.
You'll do what?
You'll do what? Tanner Plummer. Oh, that's right. Holly Rowe is gone. I don't think she's a good person, but I do think she's a good person, but she just doesn't do a good job in adding commentary during games. Is Holly Rowe doesn't work for the Jazz anymore?
I hadn't heard that.
I had not heard that either.
Did we miss that?
I could be wrong. Let's see. Big Daddy Magic says, hey, you'll play us on Friday. We should have a nice dream party in celebration, the once in a lifetime. Dude, do we always have to talk about Victor? Big Daddy Magic, is that the only thing? Jake Gordon, I hated Holly's comments during the game. I just wanted to hear basketball chat. Yeah, it gets a little the cackling, as I used to call it. Jeff Bevan, the Raptors had good YouTube content going a couple of years ago where it was weekly vlog type show. I loved it. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll see. I want to see what the Jazz do. I do like David James. He's kind of a homer, but overall I agree with some of what he says. And yes, he did a great job calling RSL games on TV. He's been doing a good job calling them on radio. I can't listen to it on the radio because he calls RSL's a soccer club in Salt Lake City. He calls those matches like they're on TV. And RSL is unwatchable at certain times. So it's a long story. All right, couple NBA notes I want to get to here on the Monty Show. Of course, all of our NBA programming here on the channel is brought to you by our good friends at TryDayTrading.com. Get to TryDayTrading.com/Monty. I'm telling you guys, if you're watching this at work right now, dreading your boss or dreading the fact you had to go back to the office, dude, you got to get to TryDayTrading.com. Build the independent life that you've been chasing for how many years now? And how long have you been talking about the fact this year I'm going to make more money. I got to make more money. I've tried 50 side hustles and failed. This isn't try a side hustle. This is become an elite day trader and make the money that you deserve, that you've worked so hard for. Stop complaining about your boss. Stop complaining about the commute. Stop complaining about your terrible carpets that you can't afford to replace, and get to TryDayTrading.com and sign up for their 10-day, 30-day, or their $10 30-day membership. I have said that wrong every day this week. Their $10 30-day membership at TryDayTrading.com. They give you the full deal, dude. For that $10, A, it's a charity donation. They don't put it in their pocket. They give it to charity. It's a tax write-off for you. B, you get their entire coaching program for $10 for 30 days. So you're going to know exactly what it's about. You're going to know exactly what it entails. You're going to learn their process, their algorithms. You're going to learn the way they do business. And the best part is when you're done with that 30-day trial membership, if it's not for you, walk away from it, man. It costs you $10. How many side hustles have you done that have cost you thousands? Here's one for $10. Make a decision after 30 days, but you got to try it. It's a 30-day, $10 trial membership that will change the rest of your life. And if I said to you, give me $10 and I'll show you your future, would you do it? Well, yeah, of course you would do it. Get to TryDayTrading.com/Monty. Sign up for their 10-day membership. Their $10 30-day membership. I'm in your head, man. You're in my head. Their 30-day, $10 trial membership, TryDayTrading.com/Monty. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. And before I'm done with this, I want to say the same thing I say every day. Did you make $1,000 today? Oh, you didn't? Well, people at TryDayTrading.com absolutely make $1,000 day trading every single day. Every single day. You're making $1,000. If I said to you, hey, here's a gig where you can make $52,000, would that be a good side hustle? Would that? Yeah, I think it would be. Right? Hey, here's $50,000. Here's $100,000. Hey, here's
Go get it, that. Bro.
If I said you make $200 this week, or even today, what if I said to you, part-time traders at TryDay Trading make a couple $100 a day? They make $1,000 a week. As a side hustle, it's a $52,000 side hustle. What would that money mean to you? Go find out. $10, 30-day membership, TryDayTrading.com.